I'm aware of, and being a long-term local, and somebody who's fought to be in the position that I am, because I'm acutely aware of the circumstances on the ground in a place like Alice Springs, is that I've been approached by many foster parents who are deeply concerned about the kinship rule when it comes to the foster care of vulnerable Indigenous children, that Territory families take children who have been in loving, caring foster homes and then place them back into communities that they've actually not really known all their lives. For example, there might be a child, a 6-month-old, put into the care of a foster family who then take care of that child, meet that child's needs in a suburban home in Alice Springs with everything that they require, paediatric support, specialist learning support, all of those things. And then by the time they turn 6 or 7, there might be somebody who says, I'm kin for this child, I will take responsibility for this child. So, but that person is living back out in a community that doesn't have the services available, where there's known predators in some of those communities, and those children have been re-traumatised, put back in those circumstances, and in fact, yes, sexually abused again, and then again, Territory family steps in once that's happened and put them back in foster care. I know this is happening. And these are the sorts of stories that Peter Dutton heard on his visit here. And while the media have turned this into a beat Peter Dutton up exercise, the truth remains he was here because of his concerns, because the community has been calling out for leadership to come and address these concerns. And while Peter Dutton has made 2 visits, the Prime Minister, I have to remind everyone, the Prime Minister made a 3-hour visit to Alice Springs and left, and then spent 3 days at the tennis. Locals on the ground, if the media were in fact at all interested in understanding, were really very upset about feeling like they've been completely ignored. These issues have been issues that I have been campaigning on for a very, very long time, because the concerns of locals, they're beyond themselves right now, and they're calling on leadership in a bipartisan approach to address these issues. That's what's going on.
I want to come to how to address these issues, but just coming back to the question though, are there specific cases that Peter Dutton's talking about of kids being returned to the hands of their abusers?
This is what I'm saying. So these are the concerns of foster parents and people who have had these experiences. They have been through these experiences. So these aren't made up claims.
Do they need to be reported to police then?
They've gone through the processes. It is failings by Territory families to actually uphold the human rights of these children. And the basis of this is because they are Indigenous kids, and the priority is to put them with kin, even though that kin may be living in dysfunctional circumstances. This has been an ongoing issue, but one where you can't put a spotlight onto unless you have a royal commission, because the fact that foster parents, their stories cannot be heard publicly. It's about protecting the identity of these children.
I'll come to the Royal Commission,
but this is what happens.
Sticking with the immediate concern for kids, does Peter Dutton, or indeed yourself, Senator, need to report any of this to police? Are there kids right now who are being put in danger?
Look, David, we're not stupid. Peter Dutton is a former policeman. He knows what needs to be done. I'm talking about circumstances where these things have taken place, where Territory families has known about these circumstances. Oh, well, if that's what the territory families know about them, I'm assuming that they have reported that. I know foster parents have. They've done the due diligence and they have done the reporting in these circumstances.
But are you just assuming that this has been reported? Shouldn't you, under the mandatory reporting requirements laws, report this to police to make sure?
David, what I'm saying is This is what has been done. The problem isn't this, the reporting's been done. The problem is the way in which the system is failing these children by putting them back in these circumstances. I mean, we're talking about situations where some of these foster parents are actually police themselves. This is the problem. They're fighting a system where they know that they're very concerned because Territory Families against recommendations and advice from experts such as paediatricians, child psychologists are saying to them, do not put these children back in these dysfunctional circumstances, and yet are doing that.
Who's making that call? Is that Territory Families? That's just so viewers are aware. Are you suggesting Territory Families are putting kids in the hands of abusers? I mean, that's a very serious allegation.
That's right, and this is what foster parents have been telling me. This is what foster parents have been telling me, and I have no reason to believe that these concerned parents are making these stories up, especially when I've heard them over and over again.
And are you passing any of that on to police?
Of course. Like I said, there are circumstances where foster parents themselves are, in fact, police. And I'm talking about foster carers who are also Indigenous, who have come to me with these grave concerns.